A lot of the comments on my videos and general social media are great fun, but one particular comment keeps popping up, and that is that the budget required for the models featured in these videos are all usually way beyond what most can or even want to spend on a model. And that's fine. Heck, I'll go as far as to admit that I'm very fortunate to be able to play with all these things I do, even taking basic models to the extreme, as we did recently with maxing out a foamy with MKS servos. I've talked about the group of people at RC Skills before, and the amazing work that they do and how they're my go-to guys for anything technical. Well, one of the guys in that group is Tom de Words from Belgium. Sorry if I said that wrong.
Hey guys, I'm Tom.
He was approached to design and develop the V2 model of the Avios Extra 330LX 56 inches, and now that it's finished, he was good enough to arrange them to ship one out to me. So let's get into it. I have no idea of any of the specs of what kind of gear has been used in this thing, but if it flies right, and that's a big if, it's finally going to be a model for anyone's pocket here on the channel. Let's take a look. First impressions seem promising. The plane itself looks absolutely great. It's made out of a high density and high rigidity foam, which gives it a lot of strength without being particularly heavy. It also comes with a few nice features and accessories, like the quick releases for the wings, or the almost full-length carbon fibre wing tube. It also has an aluminium undercarriage with plastic wheel pants, so that should take a real beating. We have a nice little tail wheel, wooden prop that comes in the kit, and all in all the accessories seem nice. My only concern would be the same as with any foam plane, and that is seeing how the paint holds up in the long run. But we'll get this thing built, we'll take it to the flying field, and we'll see. First up we have the elevator, which we simply attach into place and then screw down, making sure that's screwed in nice and tightly with no play. Next we have the rudder, which we clip into place, just like so, and then turning the plane upside down we can install another couple of screws which keep both the elevator and the rudder firmly in place. An additional screw serves as a hinge point, and then it's a case of attaching the pull wires. The holes weren't quite big enough for the screws in mine, so I had to drill those out. That was easy enough, and then just a case of screwing everything in place with the pre-assembled pull wires. Next we have the tail wheel, which again, another couple of screws, and that just slots in place. Now this is a little bit fiddly, but with the two springs included, we just attach the steering to the control horn, and then we have steering on our tail wheel. Moving on, we have the undercarriage. First of all, we need to remove the little protective guards, which are more ornamental than anything else. They're held in with 4 screws. There's also a foam block which covers up the gap, meaning that once we put our landing gear in and screw that down, we'll be able to put that back and it'll look like there's nothing even there. And then we simply screw everything back in place. Moving back to the elevator, we're just going to attach the included push rod and we're good to go. Same applies for the wings, so the servos and control horns are all pre-installed, just need to attach the linkages. And there we have it, one built model, or should I say assembled, as after all, if it weren't for the fact that I was filming all of that, I would say that this entire model could be put together in around 10 to 15 minutes. It was just a case of adding in a couple of screws to the rudder, elevator and landing gear, and then attaching all the servos to the surfaces using the push rods provided. Now the plane itself's now ready to go. We're just missing the receiver and adding in the speed controller. Now in the box comes a 4S 60 amp speed controller, which does run both on 4S, 5S and even up to 6S. The model itself is rated for 4S or 5S. However, if you're going to be doing extreme 3D, especially somewhere hot, like Spain, they recommend that if using a 5S battery to beef up the speed controller, replacing it with a bigger version. So we're going to run it out of the box with the standard 4S setup, and then we'll see where we go from there. That was the standard stock 4S setup. Next, we're going to try the 5S setup, which is what they recommend for both extreme 3D and anywhere where it's kind of hot, like here in Spain. So we've swapped out the standard 60 amp speed controller for the larger 80 amp version, and for my own personal preference, I've also removed the SFGs, which I can't say that I particularly like flying with them on. Knife edge is about the same, and it just doesn't roll as quickly, it's not as agile, and it's not as precise. So my opinion, save your time, go fly it as it is. Let's try 5S. And that is the Avios Extra 330 LX. A load of fun in a small package, and finally for everyone's pocket. I didn't end up changing anything from the airplane. We've got the original servos, the original motor, and we've only changed the speed controller, which was a recommendation from the factory and it's actually described in the manual itself. I do much prefer the plane on 5S. It has that extra punch that makes the plane a lot livelier. As we said, get rid of the SFGs, you don't need them, they just add a bit more drag, and all in all the plane's a lot more precise without them. Is it the most out and out 3D extreme plane I've ever flown? No, it isn't. But that doesn't mean that it isn't a load of fun and it can do all the tricks. So if you want something that's a nice size, that's strong and that isn't expensive, definitely look at the Avios Extra. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, leave us a like, subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll see you all in the next one for more flying fun.